talk to real, oops, sorry about that. So we want to go out and talk to real members about how they experience the community with LinkedIn and what they found to be successful within their careers. And after all of that success, we ended up with what's most important is you, the person on LinkedIn. So let's talk about LinkedIn. Now, I'm a little biased because I do work at LinkedIn, but let's talk about our vision. LinkedIn, we defined our vision as our true north. And excuse me, it is our company dream. It's what drives us every day at LinkedIn. Ours is our create an economic opportunity for members across, excuse me, members. Let me back up. Sorry about that. Every member of the global workforce. So that's our vision. That is our true north, where we want to really create opportunity globally. And so let's talk about our mission. Our mission, it defines is our objective. It's something reliable, measurable, and ideally inspirational. Ours is connecting the world's professionals to be more productive and successful. So to give you a little bit better idea of LinkedIn as a company, let's talk more about the network. So why LinkedIn? Why is there value for you? So let's talk about our value proposition. It's all about connecting you to opportunity. So with that, you're going to be able to identify, your skill sets, build your professional network, learn new skills, and be able to connect with people globally across the world. So let's talk about what we call as LinkedIn's economic graph, what you get with LinkedIn, the power of LinkedIn. So as you can see here, we have over 58 million companies on LinkedIn. We have 810 plus million members on the network. We have 14 million jobs that are posted on LinkedIn and 38,000 skills that you can attach to your LinkedIn profiles. We have 116,000 schools, and this one's crazy, 443 billion knowledge on LinkedIn. So these are people who are on LinkedIn, connecting, updating, posting, and so on. So that's a pretty, looking at our economic graph, that is pretty amazing that this one company can connect you in so many different ways. So let's talk about your profile and how that impacts you and how it becomes your story. So LinkedIn, think of LinkedIn as a profile, is a digital presence out there in the professional networks on LinkedIn. So think of it less as a resume, but more of a dynamic digital portfolio that is engaging, visual, and highlights your experience and skills to help you build a professional presence. So let's kick off this session by giving some best practices, recommendations for a strong LinkedIn profile. So the first part is your photo. You want to make sure that you have a nice photo. Does it need to be professional? No, it doesn't need to be professional, but it does need to be with you and you alone. It's great to bring in your family members or, when you're on a vacation, but think of this as your profession. Make sure it's a very nice, high quality photo. My photo is taken from my phone. Your phone can do some great adjustments, as well as on LinkedIn. You can actually, when you upload your photo, as you can see there, that you can, filter it, you can zoom in, zoom out, and add some adjustments to it. So there's no need to take a professional headshot, but if you do have that definitely will work as well. So as you can see here, members with photos get 9 times more connections. They have 20 times more views and 36 times more messages. And the reason why is if you're willing to put your photo out there, you're real. You're not a fake profile. You're not afraid to, show who your true authentic self is on LinkedIn. So now let's talk about, next that's most important is updating your name and the pronunciation. So LinkedIn now has it where you can record a 10-second pronunciation of your name. So sometimes your names can be a little bit difficult or people might mispronounce it. So it's really great to go in there and record your name. So then whoever is speaking to you knows exactly how to pronounce your name. So it's not embarrassing for them. And sure, for yourself having to correct everybody if you have a challenging name to pronounce. So now let's talk about pronouns. Display your pronouns helps you show up as your true authentic self. So our research shows that pronouns are core to the identity of who you are and who you're seeing on our network. 70% of job seekers believe it's important that recruiters and hiring managers know how the gender pronoun, and 72% of managers agree and believe in that respect. So it's really important that if you want, show up on LinkedIn as your true authentic self and insert those pronouns. So let's talk about your cover story. Now, this is something that's been really exciting with LinkedIn. So now you're actually able to create a 30-second video that is you can only do this on your phone, but it's a great way to introduce yourself. Add some color, what passions and experience you have. It gives you a light. You can even do a call to action saying that if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn or send me a message. So just make sure that, as you know, this is something that is only you can do on your phone to create your video. And then they would be able to then pull it in to your, onto your account through the mobile app. And then people can then respond to you. And as you can see, the blue circle around Lily, that will indicate that you have an actual video on your LinkedIn profile. So now let's go into the next step, which I think is important, is adding your industry. So add your industry is really important. Often it's how others will find you on your professional network. So people will look for people who are in the same industry as they are. And members with this information has been discovered up to 38 times. Recruiters will find them in searches versus if you don't have the industry that you're working in or that you would like to work in. So now let's talk about, are you open for opportunities? So this is a great tool if you are open to opportunities. If you're looking for work, then you can go click into the button that says open to, and there's different tabs that you can go into. You can put it out open to your network, open to everybody, or open to just recruiters. So then not everybody sees that you're open to different work within the organization that you're currently in. So now the next part that's really important is drafting your summary. So make sure this is in the about section. Make sure this is like your elevator pitch. So include an introduction to yourself and highlight your accomplishments and your aspirations. Keep it short, keep it sweet. No need to list all of your accomplishments. You can actually do that in the experience section, but feel free to highlight your unique talents as well as how you could contribute to an organization. And also a key is make it 40 words or more, because you're going to get a higher response rate than just a couple little bullet points on that in that section. So let's talk about featuring content. So this is bringing your story to life. So this will allow you to share articles, if you've written articles, images, documents, links, and so on, to bring your, like I said, the story to life. Really paint the picture of who you are as a professional and what it would be like to work with you in an organization. Now, to go back to when I was talking about don't go too lengthy about your experience, is because there's an area for experience where you're able to upload any of your experience, telling your professional story, your accomplishments, be able to showcase experience by writing a short paragraph, rather than bullet points. We don't really focus a lot on bullet points because we want you to be able to tell the story instead of just bullet point it, but not be too wordy. So if you work at a startup company, that would be great to know that, right? That you worked at a startup company. So if you're looking for more, being able to work at another startup companies would like to see that. So I think that's a good call out to put that in your story and anything that you feel would be a benefit for somebody who is looking over your experiences to consider you as a partner or as a business partner and work for their organizations. Now, this next slide is a new one for us here at LinkedIn. Oops, let me go through here. Okay. About adding a career break. So this is new. We've actually recently surveyed a tremendous amount of people on LinkedIn, and 62 people globally, and 64% of those were women who had taken a career break over the last year, and they really wanted a better way of being able to show that they were taking a career break. And so nowadays, a lot of people are taking career breaks. They're taking sabbaticals. They've worked really hard for many years and they want to take a break. That is not looked at, that's not frowned upon anymore. Hiring managers and recruiters see this as someone who understands mental health, understands they want to take care of themselves, and that they're just taking a break and they'll be back in the workforce. So activating content creator mode. So this is a great way to engage and grow your audience. It's great if you're an established thought leader and growing your follower base. So you want to be able to go in there and create and add content and make sure people establish your voice to get to be uncovered and discovered on LinkedIn. Next part is adding your volunteer experience. This is great. And organizations look at this as like, what are you doing outside of your professional network? Are you volunteering? Are you part of, women's group, Women in Charleston Tech? Those types of things really get the eye of individuals on LinkedIn. As you can see, you'll get 6 times more profile views with having your experience versus not. So anything that you can do to differentiate yourself and set yourself apart from anybody out there is always a good thing. And then adding skills to get endorsed. So you definitely add skills if you have any type of, different types of skills. If you're an accountant or if you're, a small business person, make sure you're adding these skills, because once again, the more that you put on there to paint your professional story, the more you're going to get back out of LinkedIn, more connections, more followers, and just more in a whole as on the platform. And if you haven't done this, I think this is really great. And I think sometimes we veer away from this because we don't like to ask people to do things. But I think it's important to ask about getting recommendations, people that you've worked with. This is like your digital story. So what a great way to have a boss or a coworker or even clients that you worked with give you a recommendation, so then they can also paint the story of what it's like to work with you, as well as then you can also give an actual recommendation as well. So I'm always about the give-get. If someone is giving you something, they should be getting something in return. So, and I think this is a great section too, if you're looking for an internal promotion. So even though, LinkedIn, a lot of people think it's how you find jobs. It is, but it's also how you can find jobs internally. So at LinkedIn, and I'm pretty sure every recruiter out there looks at LinkedIn and looks at your LinkedIn profile before they even engage with you to see, is this person qualified? Do they have the skills? Do they, are they what we want? So I highly recommend requesting some recommendations and giving some to coworkers and people within your professional network.
Hey, Karen, I'm not sure if now is a good time to ask. I know you said let's save questions for the end, but I think this one may be applicable.
Okay.
Gail has a question. She says, why does LinkedIn require separate recommendations for the About section of the profile? I have a number of recommendations on my profile already, but they don't populate my About section.
Gail, that is a good question. I'm not too sure what the answer is, but I can double back on this and follow up after the meeting and reach out to my content team and find out. But good question. I haven't heard that before.
Perfect. Thanks, Gail. So we'll follow up with you on a response on that after our session.
Thank you. All right. So These are the things that you don't want to forget about. You want to make sure that your location is there, you have your education, any publications or accomplishments. So those are some really key things to have on your profile. So make sure that when you are updating your profile or working on your profile, make sure that you do have those 4 pillars. And so let's talk about gaining knowledge and insights. So, LinkedIn helps you stay on top of the news, content, companies, professionals, and that matter most to you. So let's talk about how you follow organizations. So how you follow organizations, this is how you're going to stay on top of what is going on. If there's a company that you want to follow that you're interested in, then you would then follow by just going to the top of you would go simply under the company, and then you would search the company and then select follow right there on the little follow tab. And then once you do that, then once you start following these organizations, they'll start to come up in the top of your news feed. So then you don't have to drill down looking for the things that are important to you. And then follow influencers. Anyone, of course, I've got Bill Gates here, Microsoft. LinkedIn is a Microsoft company. So, he is an influencer. So definitely follow people that you admire, you aspire to be, or just organizations that you want to become a part of, and you want to follow them to see what is going on. So once again, that will come up in the top of your newsfeed when anything is posted or, going through the newsfeed on LinkedIn. And then in addition, gaining insights, staying informed is, really important to you. So let's talk about leveraging how you can, how to find what you care about. So advanced searches, you can do advanced searches, as you can see here, as into industries, companies, and locations of where you would like to look at companies. Now, this is only on the premium membership. This is not on the free membership. So something to take note on that. So that's our LinkedIn premium subscription. But it's a great way if you're looking for a job, or you're looking for an area, you might be relocating, and so you want to see what type of organizations are within that area, you'll be able to do so. And now, so let's talk one more slide here, and then we can answer any questions, but see what's going on and content and posts that matter to you. As you can see here, you can control if you want to unfollow someone, follow someone, you can block someone. If you feel a post is not appropriate, you can report that. And then you can also just, be able to control too how often you are contacted by LinkedIn by going up to your settings tab and then deciding, you want to be connected, you want to be reached out to or not. But this is definitely something that's really powerful, is being able to control what you're seeing and not seeing. And if you do see anything that is offensive, LinkedIn takes pride in being the #1 trusted media company out there, that we do not, if anything is in violation, we shut it down immediately. So with that being said, I know I just kind of went through a lot of information, but I'm really excited to hear if you have any questions. Gail, I will follow up with Jackie to get your question answered for you, but just like to open it up for any questions.
Everyone on the Zoom now should have the ability to unmute themselves. If you would like to unmute and speak up and ask any questions, please feel free to do so. Also, feel free to use the chat option as well.
And Jackie, I can share this deck to you if you wanted to share this with anyone who's on the call or your group. I'll be happy to do so.
Okay, that would be great. Thank you.
I guess I can ask a question back to Jackie. Your past few jobs, how did you find your jobs?
Yeah, so to kind of give everyone a little bit of background, so Karen and I were colleagues in the early 2000s. And so we were very fortunate to be able to establish a relationship outside of work and maintain it over the years. And so back in, gosh, when was it, like 2015, 2016, I had reached out to you and I said, I'm just kind of in a rut and I'm looking for my next opportunity. Like, how can I use LinkedIn? And Karen was able to give me some really great advice on how really, at first and foremost, to learn how to just generate more traffic across my page. And actually, since I left Nestle in 2017 or 18, all of my opportunities have come via LinkedIn. So using that open to work option has been a huge winner for me. Just updating my experience and networking with the right people. So, getting to that 500 plus connections, but, seeking out people who are within your industry or an industry that you're interested in. And then also, for me, what was really important was seeking out people who I wanted to be like. So identifying women who were working in STEM and networking with them, and just those opportunities kind of just fall into your lap. So it was a really great thing. We did have a couple questions come through here on the chat. So let me see. Mirabelle says, any suggestions for what a profile video should do? Talk about experience or products?
Yeah, the video profile should give a little peek behind the curtain of who you are, your experience, and what you feel, what it would be like to work for you. So some of your accomplishments. So let's say if you worked at an organization and you were a frontline worker and then you're now a manager, you want to highlight that as like your journey within the organization, but make sure to add in like just a little bit of that personal, a call to action, and your experience. So the call to action is great because you can just say like, if you have any questions or you'd like to connect, reach out to me on LinkedIn. And then that opens up the door to then, because, if anyone's reaching out to you, it's someone who wants to talk to you. So you're giving them the okay to say, it's okay, you can contact me.
Wonderful. And Karen Sorensen, Karen says, thanks so much. This has been extremely helpful and would love to get the deck and the recording. So, hey, Karen, we will definitely get these things over to you as soon as possible. And Kayla said, not a question, but I really like that you have added the sections about career breaks. I'm glad they are looking at that differently now. So funny story is Karen and I were just talking about that the other day, how significant that's going to be, especially for us women in technology who have been fighting through this COVID the past, almost 2.5, 3 years at this point. So that's wonderful. And Sanjita, I'm so sorry if I butchered your name. Definitely use that recording on how to pronounce your name. But she says, can you talk about the different privacy levels for profiles?
The privacy levels, that is more of our security question, and I could get that information to you. But on a privacy level, can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
So we'll come back to that one.
Okay.
And Gail is asking for any tips on how to get more engagement and visibility on posts would be appreciated. I've heard that personal posts are favored more than company posts.
Absolutely. Personal posts is great. Any articles that if you see, like if you watched a TED Talk and you found it to be valuable, post about that. Also, I think what happens too is if you, hashtags are important. If you hashtag anything on that post, as well as attach it to somebody. So if somebody, you found it to be really enlightening, it was a TED Talk, it was, a certain person, you would then copy them on that as well on the post. So then what it's doing is it's going to pull into their network because they were mentioned, and then it starts pulling into your network.
Let's see. Sanjita, she said, I wanted to see if there is a way to see how many people viewed your profile outside of the premium membership?
That's a great question. Premium is it. Premium is platinum. It's the most that you're going to receive to see who's viewed your profile. Unless you were with an organization and then you had another sales navigator. That's something that I don't sell, but sales navigator could show you about the same thing, maybe a little bit more, but to my knowledge, premium is, and showing who's viewed your profile is where it all sits.
Okay. And Kelly Martin, she says, how much detail do you recommend going into for a career break when it was a company layoff, or should the subject just speak for itself?
I think the subject should speak for itself. I don't think you need to go too elaborate. It should just really, sometimes those little sections, less is more. Like I think sometimes we get into these where we want to go down and tell too much information, then we get lost in the weeds. So I would just say, just make it simple and let it speak for itself.
Yeah, give yourself the opportunity to get your foot in the door, and then you can have a more elaborate conversation in person or on the phone.
Yep.
Karen has a great comment. She says, I came across someone last night who is open to work and used the video to promote herself. I was extremely impressed and can see how that would influence me when searching for candidates.
High five. Absolutely. It really does, because then you're really getting an authentic person, right? Like they're putting a video, they're putting themselves out there, they're telling their story and they're engaging. So I love that. Good job.
I'm trying to find the option to give people to unmute themselves, but I don't think it is working.
Oh. And something to think about too, you don't need to, LinkedIn is great. The way I look at it is there's two profiles you're going to have. You're going to have a profile where you're looking for work, right? So you're going to be open to work and you're going to maybe in that about section, telling a little bit different story versus if you're not looking for work, you're not open. This is just your digital, professional story. So kind of think about it that way too, is like you could technically have two different types of profiles depending on where you're at in your professional journey. And then Jackie did mention something about having 500 plus connections. That's important. Like if you don't have that many connections on LinkedIn, recruiters and other people look at that and think, oh, this might not be a real person. This could be someone catfishing me. So they don't want to connect. And 500 sounds like a lot, but you would be pretty surprised how quickly 500 connections come about.
Okay, Kayla has another question. It says, what recommendations would you have for someone that is looking to change career fields completely? You mentioned changing your industry to one you are interested in.
Yeah, I think that's maybe change your industry. And also too, if you're looking to change your industry, then the skills, update your skills to update those skills to what the industry is looking for. And a little shameless plug here with LinkedIn Learning. If you have a premium LinkedIn account, you have access to LinkedIn Learning, which we have over 7,000 video-based tutorials teaching you different skill sets. So if you are looking to change your career and change the industry, I would say update your skills, location, and then take some courses, or at least show that you have changed and you are professionally developing yourself for that new industry.
Kayla, that's where also too, in changing industries, I would start to try and connect with people in that industry that you're trying to get into, and start building those connections and breaking out that network.
Yeah, changing industry is a huge thing right now with LinkedIn, because with COVID, it's kind of turned the world upside down. So a lot of organizations are flexing different. They're remote employees, they're going hybrid. We know there's some jobs that are not, but there's a lot of people during these past few years who have completely revamped their professional journey, because they realize, am I at a company that because I like what we do, or am I at a company because it's a job? Why not look to do something that I have passion for? Why not do something that I believe in what the company, stands for and backs? And then two, why not look at companies who are diversified, who have, women leadership as well as male leadership? Because a lot of organizations were heavily on male leadership. So now these times are changing and job seekers are looking for those things. So that's a really good call out.
Leslie Royston has a question, and she says, what's the recommended way to connect with recruiters before applying to open jobs? Connection requests or direct messages?
Direct messages. They are on, they are recruiters, they are in LinkedIn, they're on their messages, and they are, if you were to reach out, direct message them, they will happily return the message. And if not, then it tells you maybe that's not a good organization to be a part of.
Okay, Ariana has a question. Is it worthwhile to add work history that is irrelevant to your current career?
No, I don't think so. I think you should have all of your work history. Maybe you don't go back, so many years, but I just think it's good to show where you started and where you are now. It's a journey. So this is your professional journey. So I highly recommend putting, even if it might not be relevant to your career now, I say do so.
I think the other thing is too, that's where you can really leverage that skills section, right? Because even though part of your work history may not have a direct, relevance to what you're trying to do or currently doing, some of those skills may be transferable.
Yep. And it also shows too that you are continuously professionally developing yourself. Because skills change, as we know. I think we just did a new study in 2026, 52% of jobs will be obsolete because everything's going digitalized. So why, if you're not professionally developing yourself, then you're going to be stuck at a job that might not even exist in a few years. Another shameless plug for LinkedIn Learning. If you got a premium, take advantage of it. Great courses.
Okay. Well, I know we are running just a few minutes over, but I did want to give everyone one last opportunity to answer any questions.
The privacy question, I wanted to double back on that to get more, have her explain a little bit more on that.
I've reached out to some of these folks in the DMs, and so we have contact information that we can definitely follow up with.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Jackie.
Yep. Okay, everyone. So we will get this recording up on the YouTube channel in the next couple of weeks. I know Jared will be helping us with that. And then we will get the presentation posted somewhere. I don't know where quite yet, but we will get it posted and get the communication out on how to access that as soon as possible too. So definitely be checking back with the Charleston Women in Tech website and make sure that you are a registered member on Meetup right now, and we will make sure that you have access as soon as possible.
And I'm happy to provide my LinkedIn. Well, actually, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. And if you have any follow-up questions, make sure just to connect and send me a message, and if I don't have the answer, I will search it out for you. But I appreciate you allowing me the opportunity to talk about LinkedIn and to be a part of this powerful women's group. I am thrilled to be a part of it. So thank you, Jackie, for the invitation.
Yeah, thank you so much, Karen. We really appreciate you. So, okay, everyone, if you need to find Karen on LinkedIn, I'm going to jot her name down and you should be able to reach out to her directly via LinkedIn.
Awesome.
So thank you all so much. Have a wonderful rest of your week and an upcoming weekend. So we will see you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.